welcome back to Caffeinated Librarians. This is my second to final episode. Just kidding. Next up is our favorite all-time
book. So, we're gonna do books. So, what I'm going to say is, I'll do like the honorable mention, and it's not honorable because I don't really like it, but it's honorable because the one that's going to be my top, it's top for a reason. So my honorable mention will be anything by Sarah J. Maas. She's
Crescent City?
Yeah, that's her adult series. She also has 2 young adult, or one's young adult, one's more new adult. But I like her writing. I like her world building. I like how everything is so connected. Katie and I are looking forward to her
continuing.
Yeah. Another honorable mention goes to Holly Black. I love her. I love the way she writes the Fae. But
is her new one The Serpent?
I'm sorry?
Is it her new book, The Serpent?
The Stolen Heir.
The Stolen Heir is her new book.
Okay.
Yeah, which is currently on the New York Times bestseller list. It's a really great book. I ordered it. We will be getting it sometime. But
she means she ordered it for herself, though, not for the public.
No, it's for the public. Yeah,
embezzling library funds.
You're gonna get it. So those are some honorable mentions. So my favorite will be the Harry Potter series.
Yeah, pick one.
Gotta pick one.
I'm gonna.
Oh, okay.
So Harry Potter series, but of the series, my favorite is Prisoner of Azkaban.
The amount of intensity that comes into the arrival of Sirius Black.
Yeah, and because I've been listening to the audio. I'm listening to the audiobooks. Mm-hmm. If you haven't listened to the audiobooks, Jim Dale is fantastic.
He's great
in the audiobooks. So I always, the Harry Potter series, I've read every book at least 5 or 6 times. It has a special place for me. It was part of my high school years. I remember going to the premiere of the book, not premiere, but
the releasing.
Yeah.
The midnight releasing of the books.
When Borders was still around, and it was a special moment. So yeah, they have a special place in my heart. But in terms of my favorite, I will have to say it's Prisoner of Azkaban.
Definitely.
That may have changed from what I previously thought would be my favorite, but the film didn't do the book justice. It just didn't. So yeah, that would be my favorite.
I tend to agree. I think Prisoner of Azkaban was probably just the most... They were all... I mean, I don't think there's a book that I don't like. But I think The Prisoner of Azkaban was the one that I was just I need to know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And I liked the movie. I think that's the best of the movies.
I don't know. I think I disagree with that, but that's just me.
And, I have one of my friends thinks that The Prisoner of Azkaban is the worst of the books. And I was like, you're an idiot. And I'll tell him that. And I've told him that to his face. He's an idiot. He thought he was like he liked the 4th one.
Oh,
Goblet of Fire.
Yeah.
That movie barely functions.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, what do you like so much about that? And he's like, oh, because it's like fun and they're like playing games and stuff like that. I was like, okay, so you just want to go play a game then? This is life and death here.
That movie feels like it was designed to just fill time on ABC Family,
Until Voldemort shows up, then it becomes a different thing
altogether. Then it's really good, yeah.
But up until then, it was a little disjointed and kind of odd. And I don't know, for me it's Half-Blood Prince and Half-Blood Prince, movie and book. I think they're the most loyal to each other in some way, other than the fact that it isn't a battle at the end of the movie versus the book. But just they got the feeling of it right.
Yeah, and understanding that it's always hard. You can't 100% faithfully adapt any book into a film or you do the best that you can switching mediums. Mm-hmm. But what I would say is that I think a lot of what made the 3rd book really good was not really at least given a chance in the film. Like the film, I don't know, and I think it's even harder where if you're not a fan or you haven't read the books, I think sometimes the films sell you short. Because there's a lot that's sort of left unexplained or it's not explained well enough, like the whole time turner.
I thought the movie did a great job explaining that.
What am I?
I just
about the time turner that I think in the books.
I guess I've just never had really an issue with Like, because I do, like you said, I understand, like, that they're not going to be able to get everything in to the movie, and as long as the movie does a good job of telling the story, I usually am cool with it, unless it leaves out huge scenes.
Yeah.
Like, if it doesn't leave out huge scenes, I'm usually pretty good with most book to film adaptations.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the thing that sticks to my mind for some, and it's because I used to have to read a lot of YA stuff, is Paper Towns. Like, the best part of that book was the SeaWorld scene. And then they cut that from the movie for obvious reasons, because it probably cost a fortune to film at SeaWorld after hours and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like that was the moneymaker right there. And to cut that out is just like but like I didn't feel that with any of the Harry Potter stuff. I thought most of the films were pretty loyal.
Actually, what I hated most about their theatrical cut of Return of the King was in the book, there's this moment where the Lord of the Nazgul enters Minas Tirith, and he's like using his black horse and walking over the skulls of the dead, and it's this unbelievable, like, goosebumps tingling, like, introduction to the Lord of the Nazgul, and he's just flying around on a winged bug in the theatrical cut, and all he does is land and then get killed. Like, there's nothing about him that was a threat. It frustrated me so much, but they fixed that a little bit in the extended cut.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite book. I'm not even going to do an honorable mention because I don't want to bore you guys too much, but I'll go with Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It might have been In the Name of the Wind, but I keep, over the years, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell just sits in my mind. It's tough to get me to read a 890-page book ever,
Did you watch the TV adaptation?
and I liked it quite a lot.
I tried reading the book. I couldn't get into it.
It doesn't have like a very intense pace, but it's like it's a joy to read throughout. So you're happy to live in the moments, and that's a common thing for people who read a lot of books. I've definitely fallen off my book reading over the last 5-6 years, but Jonathan Strange and Miss Norrell. It's this immersive Napoleonic War era novel about two magicians with dueling philosophies who are big fans of each other. Wonderful. Makes you smile, makes you just feel warm and cozy by a fire, makes you cry. The end.
Okay, so my honorable mention is a book I've had since I was in elementary school. It's called Moss Gown, and it's by William H. Hooks, and it was illustrated by Daniel Carrick. It's a Cinderella adaptation book. It's beautifully illustrated, and what I love about it is it's a totally original take on Cinderella, and my mom used to read it to me, so that's why I love it so much. And my favorite book is House of Sky and Breath, which is the second book in Sarah J. Maas's Crescent City adult fiction.
Who?
I'm saying, so that's amazing that your two all-time favorite things both came out in 2022.
Well, Moscow didn't come out in 2022.
Isn't that the Blue Book?
Moscow came out in 1987.
That's what I meant.
Yes.
Why do people make fun of me? I don't know.
I wasn't making fun of you.
No, we were actually just making
Well,
fun
no,
of
I
him,
think he was talking about the Sarah J. Maas one.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Sarah J. Maas one.
Because that was your pick for that, and your pick for the movie was Avatar.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That's all. But I wasn't making fun. I was just like, that's amazing that this year has been that massive for you.
Yeah, this past year. Yeah.
All right. Honorable mention. I'm going for my childhood favorite. The Wind in the Willows. What a book, man. It's most of it's just little British animals hanging out, having a good time, riding on boats and such.
Yeah.
Then you get the Mr. Toad chapters where he's stealing cars and shooting people, and you're like, oh man, Mr. Toad, you're a bad dude. And then you get a couple truly insane, unhinged chapters throughout. There's one where Rat and Mole end up meeting the great god Pan, and have a transcendent religious experience. That one's called.
Is this a children's book?
Yeah, that chapter is called Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and that was adapted. Not adapted, but Pink Floyd named their first album that.
Oh.
And because Syd Barrett was very influenced by fairy tale stuff.
It was first
especially
published
this
in
stuff.
1908.
And
Good
then
old days.
and then there's one where like Rat meets a sailor rat, and he like the sailor rat tells him about his life of adventure and like everything he's seen, and Rat just like shuts down because he's just like I've been wasting my life away, fritting it away on the river, and oh my god, it's really such I love that book.
Those little drawings throughout that are just so happy, like Mole just dancing,
Yes.
like just going towards a field and a tree, and like
I love Badger. He's a real one because he lives out in the woods.
He's
and
a real one.
yeah, he deals with like the weasels and stuff all the time. Rat and Mole, they don't know how to deal with weasels. But yeah, I don't know. It really struck me as a kid because it just alternates between that sort of like really lovely like pastoral tone and like really sort of oddly intense stuff, and I don't know, that really hit.
How old were you when you first read?
I was in 5th grade, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, and like even like sometimes I just go back and read Piper at the Gates of Dawn, and I'm like, whoa, this is genuinely pretty beautiful writing. And for my top pick, I'm going with Breakfast of Champions by Kurt Vonnegut.
Excellent choice.
Yeah, I really like this one. I know it's not generally regarded as one of his best, but like I don't know. Like in the prologue to it, he just describes it as like I turned 50, and I need to flush out all of the garbage in my mind. Like I just need to get everything on a page and work this out. And like I don't know. He goes off on a lot of tangents. There's one in the opening where like he talks about how like when he was a child, he like one of his neighbors was like totally like ended up totally stiff and like almost like her movements were like robotic, and it was because she didn't have enough iodine or something, and then he was like, then they iodized the water and that wasn't a problem. And like I don't know, a lot of it's just focused on chance and like humans as big beakers just filled with a very delicate chemical balance. And, yeah, it's mainly about 2 characters. One is Kilgore Trout, who's a struggling science fiction writer, which is the obvious Kurt Vonnegut parallel. And then one, Dwayne Hoover, who is a car salesman who is losing his goddamn mind, which is actually also another Vonnegut parallel, because Vonnegut was a car salesman for a good while.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's really something, though. There's a lot of like very goofy doodles throughout. He starts just drawing stuff. Like there's one joke where he's just like, now here's a drawing of an anus, and it's just an asterisk.
I feel like Vonnegut, like, I think as I've grown older, I appreciate his writing more, and he like just has. Like he'll say something, he'll write something, and then just like out of nowhere is like just this beautiful thought, and I feel like he has like 3 or 4 of them in every one of his books, and the one that I always come back to is, I'm pretty sure it's Slaughterhouse-Five, where he's like, if I have to live the rest of eternity reliving this moment and that moment, I'm glad that so many of those moments are nice. It's like it's like a sentiment that isn't really expressed a lot in media nowadays. You know what I mean? It's like, it really is just a nice thing. And I feel like he has so many of those other like just little lines throughout his books that are really really good. Even the Dr. Kevorkian one is just like,
What is that one?
Oh God!
It's a novella.
Yeah,
God
like,
bless you, Dr. Kevorkian.
God bless you, Doc. I was gonna say don't leave me, Dr. Kevorkian, or something like that. Yeah.
That would have been an interesting title.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many. He does a really cool gimmick in Breakfast Champions too, where like every time he introduces a new character, he gives you like their exact measurements. He's like he describes humans like aliens, more or less. It's really fun.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. You know, I can't say anything here that hasn't been said already.
That's a cop-out. Just say it.
Actually, it really hasn't been said because we really haven't talked about books. But the honorable mentions, really anything by Sarah J. Maas. Just kidding. We have fun here, right?
I will
What
chunk
is it
this
about
one up.
2022, man?
An honorable mention, Leave the World Behind. I think this came out a couple years ago. Rumen Alam. I'm pretty sure they're making a movie about it. That book was intense. And it just, a family goes to stay at an Airbnb. Some weird stuff starts happening. The people that own the house have to come back. And they have to kind of coexist because there's like this end of the world stuff going on around them, and you don't really know what's going on throughout the whole thing. But it's really, really intense. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, I'm pretty sure they're making a movie. I think Denzel and Julia Roberts are in it.
Crap.
Favorite book of all time, though, is The Minotaur Takes a Cigarette Break. It's a fun read. It's a Minotaur living in the world today. He's a line cook at a restaurant. Smokes a lot of cigarettes, does a lot of drugs, trips out a lot, but he's basically looking for love. You know, he's a Minotaur looking for love in the real world, and I'm a little biased with it. It was written by a professor that I had in school, and it was supposed to be made into a movie. I think that was abandoned, and it was up for prizes and stuff like that. But it's a fun book, but it's a sentimental book too.
Cool.
It's a good read. We don't have it here. I
Oh.
don't know who orders fiction around here. Just kidding. I don't think it's either of them though.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Welcome back to the final round of the Caffeinated Librarian. In this edition, we are going to talk about our favorites.
Games. So this is one where I'm going to bow out because I don't really play games.
Would you like to play a game?
Not even a favorite board game.
And every cards.
I have, but I'm
Go
not
fish?
much of a game person.
Someone's like, I don't play games.
No, it's just I'm not really like.
She's about that.
If,
Thug life.
Every day is the grind.
like any memories that I do have of playing games, like when I would go over to my friend Crystal's house, like I can't remember what the game is called. I asked her one and I forgot, but it was like one of those like fighting games. All I remember is that like
Mortal Kombat?
No,
Street Fighter.
No, it wasn't Mortal Kombat. It was
Virtua Fighter. Soul Calibur. Super Smash Brothers. Power Stone.
No.
What's the one where they're on the motorcycles and they kick each other? It's a Genesis game.
Road Rash.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
No. So basically it was a fighting game. I know like one girl transforms, like if you hit a button she would morph into like a gigantic bunny.
Altered Beast.
Probably. Maybe. Like she was a pink bunny, I think. And there was like a guy that transformed into a tiger.
I think it's Altered Beast.
Primal Rage.
Yes, actually.
No,
Yeah.
that's just dinosaurs, though. Or mine can't be that.
No, there were no. So that's like one game I remember playing when I used to go over her house. But I was never.
Rampage.
I don't know. I was never any good at.
Is that it?
No.
Bloody Roar. That's it.
Bloody Roar. That's
Oh,
right.
Bloody Roar rules.
Yeah. So that's one thing I would play, but I was always kind of like. I never was good with like coordinating like the movements and looking at the screen at the same time, so I would feel intimidated. I was never any good at it. In terms of like board games, I used to like Clue.
Clue. Banger.
Truly a terrible game.
Another one was like Connect 4 or Connect the Dots, whatever.
It's Connect 4.
Because I had an actual, like, it was belonged to my brother. And then I have fond memories. My brother had Pac-Man, but he had it like a miniature version of an arcade, like when he went to the arcade. I used to love playing that. I brought it to my class one time to show my teacher. But yeah, I'm not really a game person. I think it's also because I get intimidated by games. Like, I don't like the pressure of failing and then other people get mad at me. It's this whole thing.
Why is that, do you think?
Because when I was in high school and you had to do gym, I have no, like, hand-eye coordination. I'm not athletic. I know that comes as a shock to me. I'm not. Like, I just am not. So being in high school, it's like if you missed something, it was the end of the world. So, and then some people when they play games are extremely competitive, so they make you feel terrible if you're doing something wrong.
I'm sorry, guys.
Well,
Was that you?
Yeah.
so, so yeah, but yeah, I'm not a game person. One thing I will say is that I've seen the Hogwarts Legacy. I'm gonna call them trailers. They're not trailers.
No, they're trailers.
Oh, yeah, okay, we'll go with trailers. I've seen that, and the game does look awesome. But yeah, I guess I didn't really grow up with video games or board games. I think sometimes certain things, if you're not really exposed, it's sort of like you just sort of, okay, yeah, like, and I think that's what it is with games.
What about craps?
What?
That's gamble. It's a gambling game.
No. No. Yeah. So.
Well, the better part of my last 3 years has been taken up playing 3 games. It's Days Gone, The Witcher 3, and Cyberpunk. And I think they're all excellent, even though Cyberpunk and Days Gone were released in very flawed states when they came out. They all were patched and fixed along the way, and I think everyone should play those 3 games, no matter what. But my all-time favorite, the one that just I'll always go back to, I always have a running game of, is Final Fantasy IX. It came out in November of 2000 in the States. It's old school. It'll probably be pretty simple to get into because the controller schemes aren't too complicated. Old school turn-based role-playing game with just really good storytelling, really heartfelt characters, really good values about friendship and sticking together. And
Which one's 9?
so 7 was the one that's the biggest,
That's
the most popular.
Cloud and stuff. 8 was the weird one.
It was like the Squall and
Yes,
the
I think I kind of want to play 8. It seems wild.
If you can figure out how to do this thing called junctioning, which I was too stupid at the time to know how to do it, I basically fought the entire game with one summon. It was a miserable experience. 9 is like brought it back to the old fantasy style,
Okay.
and it's just got a great story, great characters, amazing music, and very much worth anyone's time, even now. And I hear it's getting the next remake treatment. The end.
So I have 3 honorable mentions. I'm going back to the classics. My first honorable mention is Crash Bandicoot from the original PlayStation. My second honorable mention is Spyro the Dragon, the very first one. I'm not really that. I like the first 3 in the series, but anything after that, I don't think they're very good.
Third one is my favorite.
The original one, the original 3 is great, and I got the remastered games for my PlayStation 4, and I got the remastered Crash Bandicoot, the original 3, on my PlayStation 4. My third My third honorable mention is Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It's really very good. Story is original and very solid, and I love Cal Kestis as a character. It's just really well done. But my all-time favorite video game, a game that I continually go back and play over and over again, is Uncharted 4: A Thief's End.
It's a good game.
Ah.
Yeah,
Solid.
because I played the other 3, and I just love looking at the evolution of these games. But I love Nate Drake, and I love his character. I love the voice actor. I love Elena and Sully, and it's just a great adventure game. Pirates, you can't go wrong with a pirate legend and adventure, and it's just. Nate is a smart-ass, sarcastic character, which is a lot of fun to play, and I love how he talks to himself, especially when he goes after his brother, because he's an idiot, but that's just me. But it's just a lot of fun, treasure hunting, and an ultimate sword fight on a burning ship that's going to explode at any moment. It's great, and the graphics are great, and the whole thing. Yeah, I love it. It's my all-time favorite.
Cool.
What'd you think of the Tom Holland
Uncharted movie? I mean,
I kind of liked it.
It
It was entertaining.
It's entertaining for sure. It's good. I love that Nolan North made a cameo appearance in it. I think that was the best part of the movie since he's the voice actor of Nathan Drake.
I just thought it was weird. They all seemed to be like 20 years younger than they were in the games.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, but I was like, why is Sully Mark Wahlberg now? Why is Nathan Drake Tom Holland?
Yeah,
They just slid age way to the
I
left.
thought that because I thought that was a criticism for it, and I thought people had said it's because they're kind of like starting from they're starting like when they're younger or something.
I guess that makes sense, but
I mean, that
but
would...
like I think with the impression that they were going to make more of them, which I don't know that they are now.
Yeah, I mean, I think because I love the game so much, I didn't appreciate where the movie was going, and I think that if there was any way of actually, not exhibition, but like saying you're going to be essentially making a prequel movie without really saying it would have been helpful, because I didn't know where they were within the Uncharted world at all until like the end of the movie, and he's supposed to be in Colombia where the third game starts, which is weird within the series.
Didn't he fall out of the airplane, which was a third game moment?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know who broke that movie?
The girl
Tom Cruise.
who broke it.
He broke Uncharted.
What do you mean
Why?
he broke it?
Because he ruined the idea that you can have the actor falling out of an airplane because he actually did it, versus watching someone do digital special
I don't think
effects.
that's what did it, Ben.
For Ben, that's the one part Ben couldn't get over.
Yeah. Like,
He's like, Tom Cruise jumped out of an airplane better.
yeah. Well, he actually did. This is all green screen and digital.
It was, and you could tell.
Yeah.
It was very.
Yeah, but I mean,
It might not have been the only thing.
it was entertaining. It's a popcorn entertaining movie for sure, but it just fell flat to me because I absolutely love these games, and the fourth game is my favorite, and the way they just went about it was completely and utterly wrong.
Yeah.
One game that I kind of liked, but it was more. I don't know if this counts as a game. It was more like a computer thing. I don't know. But it was like a chess game, and you could choose your chess pieces. So they had like mermaids.
Cool.
They had like all these different things. So then I think you would like click to move, but each piece like moved in a certain way, and there were sound effects.
So it was like Wizard's Chess, but it was on a computer.
Yeah, but I remember like the fun part because I suck at chess.
It's called like battle chess or something like that. I think I remember this. And like the knights would move forward and kunk.
Something like that. Like you could. What I loved was choosing the chess piece, because you could choose. Like I said, there was like a mermaid one. There was, and that just came into my head now. I'm sorry.
So it's actually Joe's turn.
Joe.
But I was going to say
Joe's
something
turn,
about
sorry.
Uncharted.
Joe's
Oh yeah.
I saw that movie because I'm also a very big fan of the games, and I saw that movie in theaters with a couple of my buddies, and or maybe not in theaters, maybe we were watching at somebody's house. Anyway, the female character,
Chloe. She's supposed to be Chloe.
I was just so drawn to her, and my buddies are like, yeah, but she's the bad guy, and I was like, I think that's kind of what I like. I was like, that movie kind of made me like reflect on myself. I was like, I might need some help. You know? Like,
I mean, in the second game, Chloe starts out as the bad guy.
yeah.
So I mean, I don't
She
know.
like the raven-haired one.
Yeah, she's Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Is she
She's
attractive?
leading that. Chloe is
Even
the
if
main.
she wasn't, though, I think I just liked that she was just rude and mean and stealing things, and yeah, I was like, wow. I was like, just how much do you need? Like, just here,
It's
take my money.
Uncharted Lost Legacy is another good one in the iteration of these games. But Chloe, you meet in the first one. And she's also a character in the third one. But then in Lost Legacy, she's the lead. You play as her, and it's her essentially finding the treasure that her father was working on. And you're in India, and
Wait a second, she's Lara Croft.
She's better than Lara Croft.
I probably deserve a statement like that for poking fun at you earlier. So I'm gonna take that one on the chin.
That she's better than Lara Croft, and the game centers around like Indian mythology, and you're in the you're essentially put in the jungles of India, and it's visually very beautiful, just like Uncharted 4. So that's all. Go ahead, Joe.
I saw a really good Lara Croft cosplay where like she put something triangular underneath her shirt, so it looked like the PS1 games. It was funny. Honorable mentions. The Sonic Adventure games. Are they good games? Probably not. But like, I don't know.
Memories.
Yeah, they so perfectly encapsulate like what children thought was cool in 1999. Like it's boom, right on the money, and it's just got such perfect vibes. Even when like Sonic falls through the floor, you're like, haha, that's a funny thing that happened. You can't get mad at it. They're adorable.
That segment in the second one where you're being chased by the car down the street and you're like snowboarding
Yes.
down the... Yeah, amazing.
Next level. Oh my god. I have great memories of this both as a child and in college playing these games very inebriated with friends. So
There it is.
yeah, great memories.
Yeah. That's kind of where I'm going with mine too.
Sometimes just like a big dumb game when you're with your friends and you're drinking, perfect.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm choosing 2 games for my top picks because I mean, I think they encapsulate different things that are great about this series. Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3.
Excellent.
So 2, I mean, 2 is just insane. In terms of story, it's just like, damn, this came out in 2001, and this called everything that would develop with the internet. Like, there's a quote on the Wikipedia page I'm going to read. This is from very late in the game when characters are telling you how the world really works. You get, like, sat down and talked to for, like, 40 minutes straight at the end. It's amazing.
This, when you're on the rooftop as Raiden about to fight,
Yeah.
what's his name?
Yeah, you're about to fight Solid Snake, the former
Solidus,
president
yeah.
of the United States, of course, who now has Doc Ock arms and is about to fight you with a katana. You know,
It's not an easy fight
No.
at first.
I love the katana stuff in that game. That's so cool. But yeah, like it sort of just like drop bombs of just like, yeah, this is how the internet's going to develop. This is how information works in the digital age. And like, if 2001 to drop that, crazy. And especially video games in 2001, they weren't exactly like engaging with issues on that level usually. But yeah, and 2, it's just like, it's a really funny game. Has one of my favorite protagonists ever, Raiden.
I love Raiden.
Raiden's so funny because it's just pretty much in the lead up to people were very excited to play as Solid Snake again, who was the badass protagonist of the first one. This game, you play as Solid Snake for about 2 hours. Then you play as Raiden, who is a whiny little thin blonde-haired pretty boy, and all he goes on about is how he did all of this in virtual reality. He can do Solid Snake stuff because he did play the VR missions, and it's just like a big screw you to the player, more or less.
Like R2, and he'd say things like, "You make no sense. What are you saying?"
But yeah, it's a great game. There's toward the end it gets real nuts, and it starts like messing with you at one point. Like one of your like guides throughout the game starts telling you to turn off the game console, and
Yeah.
there's a
Scissors 61.
there's a fake game over screen that pops up that says "Fishin' mailed." Great, it just really fun, you know. And then 3 it pretty much just has the plot of a James Bond movie. It takes place in the 60s. You're in a Russian rainforest because those are very common. And yeah, you're going up against the Soviets, and
It has a Bond theme.
yes, yeah, the theme song for it is awesome. It's Snake Eater, and it's very much just like a classic Bond theme. Oh,
We're down.
we went too long. But yeah, it's a fun game.
Well, the third one had all that CQC combat.
Yeah,
which was
the
incredible.
gameplay gets way more intricate in the third
And
one,
you have
and
to
they open up the world. You play with camo and stuff, like.
And you have to fight boss in the field of flowers at the end. That was just incredible. And
Beautiful stuff.
That was a merciless battle. She
Yeah.
was brute. Great.
Oh.
Absolutely great. It's so worth it.
In that one, you have to hunt animals to eat and stuff.
Pretty
and
good.
Yeah. You'll gain more or less health depending on how much Snake likes the food you're eating. If you get poisoned, you can spin him around really fast in the health menu, and then when you go back to the game, he'll get dizzy and throw up.
Yeah. I remember that.
And whenever you get shot, you have to go in and you have to apply the correct stuff. So it's like, all right, you need the knife to get it out. Then you need to hit it with the alcohol, then the bandages, and it's so fun. There's also a great depiction of video game LBJ at the end of it, which I don't know. That makes me laugh every time.
I guess that can count as one game because that was the PS2 era of Metal Gear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was really the peak of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those are good ones. I remember those.
Oh, there's one boss who's an old man sniper, and it's a great fight, but if you don't feel like fighting him, if you turn off the game console and come back a month later, the internal clock remembers that. He'll have died of old age.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
I just played it. Yeah. Well, yeah, I can't say anything here that hasn't already been said. But, I don't know if I have a favorite game. I like playing a lot of, like, mindless games. I play a lot of sports games. I play all the GTA games.
Madden.
Yeah, I played.
When I need GTA 6 to come out, I'm
Yeah, is
so
that ever
tired of
happening?
5.
Yeah.
Will in 2027.
I know.
In 2027. Oh my god.
I'm so tired of Los Santos. I want
Yeah.
somewhere different.
Same. Yeah. And I like all the Metal Gear Solids. Those are all good. Uncharted is all good. I think the game that probably captivated me the most was The Last of Us. The storytelling in that I think really got me hooked. And it's one of the... Well, no, I wouldn't say that. I was going to say it's one of the few games I finished from start to finish, but I've finished games. But I'd say I really enjoyed that story. Listen, the game I've had the most fun playing in my career was so my senior year of college, our Xbox got the Red Ring of Death.
Uh-oh.
The only other person with another console was me, and it was a Sega Genesis.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So we brought the Sega Genesis. We played that for like 6 months, and the game that we ended up playing the most was Risk. It is not great graphics. I think, if I remember correctly, there's actually like little board pieces that move. Let me tell you something. The song in that gets you hype. When you are inebriated also, I mean, it certainly helps. But we went to battle.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Oh yeah, it is great. And so you get like a certain amount of like armies. You can stack them wherever you want to stack them. We would yell at each other over who gets like certain areas to start with. And you knew that if you had like North America, and then like someone else was in like South America, and you bordered there, you were like, you're literally coming after me, aren't you? You're coming right after me, and they were.
This very much does sound like your favorite game.
Yeah.
The amount of passion coming out of you.
Oh yeah. It was so much fun.
Well,
I'm every night we were just.
I can remember playing Risk as like just a board game and playing it for days.
Yo, I was big into Monopoly on the Sega Genesis. Me and my brother got into fights about it.
Oh, yeah.
It was.
Yeah. And so when you went to we lost that camera. When you went to fight people, they would actually like go to a cutscene, and it would just be like you'd see like a cannon, and that's about it. And it would just be like, and then all of a sudden you'd be down 15 armies, and you're like, what the just happened? But it was.
All the cameras are dropping, just slowly fade to darkness on Lou as he's.
But it was epic. It was epic. Thank you guys for indulging us, listening to some of our favorites. We hope you check them out. And we'll see you next week. Ben, Godspeed. Do you have
He's
any
not dying.
Do you have any final words? Even though we're not getting this on video.
Just wanted to say thank you again. This has been the best part of the gig.
But you'll be back.
I may.
Okay.
If you guys decide to give back a Friday for a special occasion, I'll be here.
Okay.
Until next time, good night and good luck.